My wife just said to me right before I came on, we're canceling our subscription to DirecTV. Look, you have everyone watching this has a choice in life. You either fight or they win. And this is not heroic. You're not storming Normandy Beach. Just cancel your DirecTV subscription and let them know why.
Radio show host and writer Dennis Prager there saying his family made the decision to ditch DirecTV. This, of course, after the satellite provider dropped Newsmax from its channel lineup. Now, the issue of censorship by big companies has become a major issue on Capitol Hill. On Wednesday, 4 senators sent a letter to the CEOs of DirecTV and its controlling shareholders, AT&T and TPG, voicing their concerns and demanding information about their decision to drop Newsmax. It follows a similar letter sent last week by 42 congressmen. We're going to bring in our all-star panel to discuss. Newsmax columnist and author of Intra-Branding, the Keystone of Corporate Agility, Marc Rudov, Newsmax columnist and GOP strategist John Burnett, and Newsmax contributor Caroline Levitt. Caroline, I'm going to start with you on this one, and I just want to say welcome to the Newsmax family. I know you're a new contributor with us. Thrilled to have you here. Your reaction when you heard that Newsmax had been deplatformed, I think a word I had never used before last week.
Well, thank you so much for welcoming me to the Newsmax team. I am thrilled to be part of it. And I was smiling from ear to ear listening to Dennis Prager speak because he's absolutely right. We, the people, need to stand together against this blatant political censorship. The left has been systematically targeting conservatives, whether it's the big tech corporation, the Democrat Party, the mainstream media. We've seen it time and time again. So we have a choice to make, as Dennis said. I urge everyone watching right now to not only cancel their own DirecTV subscription, but to call their friends and family and have them do the same. We can stand together against this and put public pressure on this woke corporation and have them reverse this decision and do what is right by the American people.
Marc, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says also that something needs to be done about big tech censorship. Here's what he said.
I think there should be no ideological litmus test when you have these big companies that have the decision to make or break a news network or any type of network. And they'll give different rationales for why they don't want to do it. But the reality is they have so much other content that is very lightly viewed, and yet they keep that on. And it seems it's the One America News and the Newsmax who are being targeted. So I think it does warrant an investigation. I think probably the Congress and the House would probably be best equipped to do it. We have helped all these organizations who've been under pressure since I've been governor, and if there are things we can do. But I really think this is something that the Congress needs to look at, and I think that they need to ensure that there's not intellectual discrimination going on when it comes to what people are able to view.
Marc, and the investigation part is interesting, but I also thought the intellectual discrimination part of what he said was also a different way of phrasing things. Your thoughts?
Well, that's true. But first, I want to congratulate Dick Morris, the Milton Berle of news, for stealing my material. On January 28th, I made a video, which you can see at markrudov.tv, and I made another one on January 31st, where I was the first one anywhere to say that this was about Donald Trump. So Dick Morris, thank you for watching my videos and stealing my material, Milton Berle. I also said in my video that I believe that DirecTV is in cahoots with the executive branch of this government, just as Twitter was. And the whole purpose is to prevent Trump from winning in 24. If he hadn't announced on November 15th, this wouldn't even be an issue. And it's obviously not a business decision. AT&T owns CNN, which is a crap network. I'm going to call it DirecTV now. And if you don't know what Drek is, Google it. Maybe you'll learn some Yiddish. But DirecTV is not making a business decision. I wrote to John Stankey, the CEO of AT&T, and I said, this is ideological, not logical. This is about bias, not about business. So I don't think that AT&T cares how much money it loses. That's why it keeps CNN on the air. It's about Donald Trump.
And we are not going to confirm that Dick Morris stole your material. I do have to give him credit. He's been saying that since day one, but I credit both of you with having a very unique opinion. So thank you for that, Marc.
Sure.
But John, I want to get you in here. New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik has been very vocal as well about DirecTV's decision to, here's that word again, deplatform Newsmax, calling it unacceptable. Here's what she tweeted. Families rely on this conservative program for news, including in hashtag NY21. It's very clear bias. The House GOP is examining this in detail now. And Marc pointed this out, John, that we're hearing from DirecTV and AT&T. This is a business decision, but really, our ratings here at Newsmax are really high. We reach 25 million homes. We're the 4th top-rated cable news network. They have other platforms, other stations, other channels on their platform that have much lower ratings and that are dozens of times, even more than that, more expensive than Newsmax, but they choose to drop Newsmax.
It doesn't make good business sense or good business strategy. When you look back to the full year 2022, on 2 occasions, executive management gave forward guidance that wasn't rosy, right? But they managed to end the year beating expectations. However, going forward this year, if we go into an economic, downturn, where will they be? Right? They're getting rid of one of their star performers,
exactly,
which really doesn't make sense. So I've read a lot of comments on social media with regard to customers, former customers expressing their frustration with the network. But the loudest voice is cancellation. So I agree with these thought leaders and elected officials to take action and do it now.
All right, appreciate that. All right, panel, stick around, a lot more to get to. And coming up, we have more on that scary and bizarre Chinese balloon, the spy balloon that is now making its way east across the nation. Why is it still there? Why haven't we shot it down? And will the president, I don't know, maybe talk to Americans about what's going on? We'll wait and see. Don't hold your breath. That's next after this. Continue discussing this very strange event, a Chinese spy balloon over the United States. Really bizarre news that we're hearing about here. Following the path of it, the National Weather Service, our meteorologist Mike Masco, telling us that they were able, and they have traced its origins from when it was in China. They're now even determining where it will travel over the United States throughout this weekend based on the jet stream. Very, very strange occurrences here. How serious should we be taking this, John Burnett?
We should take it very serious by not calling it a surveillance balloon. It is a spy balloon. And you know what we do to spies? We get rid of spies. That's what we should do. This is a violation. And, the secretary is actually talking about, peace in the region on the other side of the world. But yet we have no solutions for a balloon. So who would actually have confidence in this administration? You should always have confidence in America, but certain leaders just can't get the job done. They're not even stepping up to take care of a balloon.
Yeah, Caroline, it's interesting because we heard a Pentagon briefing earlier today. We have heard from the National Weather Service. We've heard from our meteorologist, Mike Masco, giving us a lot more information than the president has given us, which is absolutely zero. He was more interested in talking about the economy, but something like this at least hasn't been reported as happening since World War II when there were Japanese firebomb balloons. So a lot of Americans are terrified. You literally look up in the sky and see something completely bizarre and then find out it's spying from China, Caroline.
Yes, and in Joe Biden's press conference today, he actually refused to take any questions on the spy balloon from the Chinese Communist Party. Instead, he wanted to focus on the jobs report today because he believes that's positive coverage for his administration. I was working in the press office under the previous president and administration, Donald Trump, and I can tell you our press office would have already held briefings with national security officials the president himself and the press secretary if this had happened under Donald Trump's leadership. But we also know it would not have happened under the previous White House. This is China poking the bear because they know that we have the weakest commander-in-chief in American history, displayed through his clear decline in his cognitive ability and thinking, displayed through the botched Afghanistan withdrawal, the wide open borders here in our own country. This president has failed on all fronts, both foreign and domestic. China is taking advantage of us, and this president is saying nothing about it. It's a complete dereliction of duty.
Marc Rudov, we have only about 30 seconds left, but how embarrassing is this for America on the world stage?
It's just a continuous saga of embarrassment. And like the balloon, Joe Biden's full of hot air, and that's why Xi Jinping did this and knew Joe Biden wouldn't do anything about it. But, I want to pick up on something what John Burnett said. He said, when you have a spy, you get rid of a spy. Not if you're Eric Swalwell. You have sex with the spy, and then you get put under the House Intel Committee. So maybe Swalwell can take care of this for us.
That sounds like the perfect time to end this segment. All right, Marc Rudov, John Burnett, Caroline Levitt, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
More American Agenda after this. Stay with us.